What's up, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Behind the Mic with Marcus, a show where we're going to take you beyond the stage, beyond the spotlight, and help you get to know some of your personalities on a deeper level. Kicking things off, my first guest is a DJ, a radio show host, and a talented program director. Please welcome J Steele.
Hey.
What up, my dog?
Hey, dog. Let's go, man. I'm excited for this, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So everybody knows the celebrity, I would say, of you. J Steele.
Oh, boy.
The morning show host, all that.
Yeah.
Take us back and help us know who Jonathan is and where you come from and your love for music started.
Yeah. I come from Columbus, Ohio. I was born in Dayton, Ohio. I moved to Columbus at a young age with my mother. And I think that's where the love for like music and radio came. My dad, he produced music at a young age.
Okay.
And literally as I was growing up and spending time with him, I was in the studio with him. But the radio thing came from my grandfather. Okay. He was in radio for a very, very long time. So as I'm like 4, 5, 6 years old, I'm running around the radio station building, following him around. I would go with him on remotes, and like I fell in love with everything about radio.
Okay.
So growing up in Ohio, I was obsessed with it. I would like tape radio stations. I'd pretend I was a DJ on the radio. And I eventually started my own internet radio station, and then things just progressed from there. But growing up, man, my mom and dad, they were never married. So I never witnessed them together. I think if they were together, I was probably like 1, 2, 3 years old, something like that.
Yep.
So it was always separated. Gratefully, thankfully, I should say, hour and a half drive between Columbus and Dayton. So I was able to see both sides of my family, like on a regular basis. But my dad, he remarried, or I guess he got married.
Yeah.
He had 2 other children who are my little brothers, my half brothers, of course. But I look at them as like, yeah, man,
They're family.
Come
no
on,
matter
that's
what.
family.
Yeah.
And then my mom had 2 other kids as well. So I have another 2 additional half brothers.
Do you like that side?
I love both sides. I love both sides.
What side you prefer?
Man, I don't listen, man, I don't have a preference, but what I will say is I was closer to the brothers on my dad's side naturally because of just like the age gap.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is so terrible. Oh, okay. My middle brother, he's 4 years younger than me. I had to think for a second. My dad, how old is he?
How is he?
I gotta remember. He's 4 years younger than me, and then the brother right after that is I want to say 8 years.
Oh, damn, you big bro.
Yeah, I'm the oldest out of all.
Oh, okay.
So, naturally, my brothers on my father's side were closer to age because my mom, she had her first kid, with separate from my father. I want to say that I was probably almost a teenager, I think. So you see the difference in the age gap there.
Yeah.
Like he just turned like 21 recently, and like I'm 32. So we had like over a 10-year age gap. And then she has another young one, and I feel so bad, bro. Like that, I don't remember ages. Like
it's fine.
I feel like he's like 5, 6 at this time.
So
he's young. So you see like, the differences there. But yeah, man, I'm just like honestly a radio nerd from Ohio.
Okay.
Bullied in school.
Ooh, how'd you deal with that one?
I switched schools a lot.
Oh, yeah, okay. No, I've been there.
No one from my high school or middle school even thought that I would ever be on the radio.
Oh.
No one ever thought that I'd live out my dream because, in school, I didn't really get good grades.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with radio. Like, I didn't study. I didn't, and I don't regret it at all. Like, I went to, like, a college prep high school and, like, did terribly. And, I graduated, obviously, but it's just, like, I was just so focused on living out my career. So now people are like, oh, my God, like, he moved away and he runs radio stations and he's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. No one ever could have expected that. So, yeah, man, like, nerdy kid, bullied a lot, never cared about clothes, shoes. It was always just radio, and I feel like even in my adult life, it's the same.
Radio. I would say, what song reminds you of both parents? Like, not together, but individually, when you hear a song, reminds you, that's my mom, or that's my dad.
So this song, you're saying I hear it and I'm thinking.
Yeah, you just think of them. It reminds you of
both of them.
No, individually.
Individually,
Yeah,
okay.
like something your mom would play constantly. Like for me, example, it was The Way You Move. I like The Way You Move by Outkast. That reminds me of my mom a lot. Yeah, she used to make me have to go dance with her all the time. So naturally, that's what I'm saying. So what is yours?
Oh man, that's tough, man. because me and my father listened to so much music. Again, just growing up, he was probably, what it probably would be is my dad always would talk about old school hip hop.
Okay.
He always would talk about old school hip hop because he's like, back in my day, it's KRS-One and it was LL Cool J. So if I hear like I'm Bad from LL Cool J, or it makes me think of my dad, growing up a lot. I remember the first time. This is so crazy to talk about. Actually, is my dad told me about this song that he heard. He's like, you got to hear it. I heard it on Music Choice, the television. Okay. And my dad also drove a truck, a semi-truck. So he was gone a lot as a kid, like on the road. So he would hear radio stations. This is before streaming. This is before, satellite radio wasn't as big. So he would drive through all these cities and hear radio stations. Yeah. So he would tell me about songs. He's like, this song is going to be a monster song. Like, you have to hear it. And the song turned out to be "Goodies" by Sierra, which was obviously a #1 record. So that anytime I hear that song, I think of my dad because he put me onto that song. Yeah. But growing up, he loved Timbaland. Dre. Dre's his favorite producer. So anytime I hear anything Dr. Dre, Eminem for sure. Anytime I get Eminem drops a new album, I immediately send it to my dad. My mom's a reader, man. Like, she loved to read books. She always would complain about me playing music too loud in the house, and like, she did not like, she liked music. Yeah. But she loves pentatonics. So like, anytime I hear, which is like they do like they have like Christmas music and they're like an a cappella group. She loves alternative rock, believe it or not. Oh, word. So like, I get that from her because I listen to all kinds of music, but when I'm like, I'm around hip hop so much between the radio station and DJing that when I'm in the car listening to country, I listen to alternative rock. I'm listening to like different things, or Power 98.3, of course. Yeah. Little shameless plug. Okay. But so anytime I hear like I know like Red Hot Chili Peppers or like something like that. Okay. Yeah. I think about her Nirvana because I know like in the 90s. I was born in '92, so when she was growing up as a young mom. That was popular at that time. Nirvana,
they were hot, especially in that year.
That '90s grunge alternative rock. So I probably think about her then. And then like I'll never forget. Oddly enough, this is kind of embarrassing to say, but R. Kelly, "Step in the Name of Love." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, listen, I ain't trying to promote R. Kelly. No, listen, R. Kelly, even though he is what he is, the music is great, man.
"Step in the Name of Love" is still good.
I'll never forget my mom was dancing to that song at a school dance. I was in elementary school, and "Step in the Name of Love" came on. I just saw my mom grooving over there. Hey, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, there you go.
All right, cool. We're not promoting R. Kelly, you guys, I promise. Nothing. All right, moving subject. Nah. So going to your first actual radio job, so obviously you were there with your grandfather the whole time, loved music. What age were you when you got like first internship or first actual job at the radio station?
I was a freshman in college. Okay. I would have been 18 years old or 19. Okay. And I went to Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. And I immediately, when I moved in, I started listening to other radio stations. Okay. And there was a station called Sunny 93 that was in a town called Gallipolis, Ohio. It was about an hour away from campus.
Sounds like small-ass.
It is very small-ass hick town, Ohio. Oh, shit. And I remember reaching out to all the different stations in that area, and Sunny 93 said, hey, if you want to come down, we'd love to talk to you. And I just, like, showed them how enthusiastic I was. Yep. And I got the night show as intern John on Sunny 93. And I used my girlfriend's car. She was a year ahead of me, so she was a sophomore at the same college. Mm-hmm. So I would take her car and go back and forth a couple of times a week to Gallipolis to do the rate. I would like track my show in advance. Oh, okay. So it was super cool. I didn't have a license.
Oh, damn.
I don't think I had a driver's license.
She trusted you with the car?
Yeah. Yeah, because we were dating, and she was just like, I want to support your dream.
Shout out to you, shorty.
Yeah, her name is Lou. I haven't talked to her in so long. But thank you, Lou. I just want to say, I haven't talked to you in a long time. I know she's married with kids and all that, but you were a go for that because you kind of like helped set everything up. You know what I'm saying?
You could have messed up your car and everything.
Yeah, I could have. Yeah, there were many times actually. I never told her this. Oh, there was quite a few times when I would be driving back from Gallipolis back to campus, falling asleep, and I literally almost hit a semi because this road was like you're driving and then people are coming the other way. So it's a county highway, right? So like. I literally merged and almost hit a semi head on. I had to hurry up.
There's no barriers in those.
No, So it's just like, Lou, thank you so much for that. Louise was sort of like running.
Louise. Yeah. All right, so your first on air, how long did it take you to get to like a solid spot?
Yeah, so I went from there. I dropped out of college because I wanted to open up a teen nightclub with my dad. So I did. I moved back to Dayton, Ohio, and I opened up a teen nightclub, and that lasted for a bit. And then I got my first job because remember the last one was the internship. I wasn't paid for it. I got my first job at Cox Media Group in Dayton, Ohio, and it wasn't on air. I was a board op.
Okay.
I was a board op for the number of stations. Most of it was news talk. So get this. I'm literally running the board for like Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity.
Oh, so you guys hear all
They're talking crazy. Ooh. Yes, super conservative talk. And growing up, like as a kid, bro, like I didn't know anything about politics. I just knew that he hated liberals. Like, that's what I knew. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
He hates everything.
And I always remember I ran a show for a guy, Herman Cain. Rest in peace to Herman Cain. He had a radio show, black guy. So his music, like he would play like his bumper music coming back like into his show would be like the most grooving. And then he'll be like, the left is. And I'm just like, what?
You're like, my man, you just went left.
Okay, yeah, cool. It's crazy. I ran the board for a news talk station, shout out to WHIO in Dayton, Ohio, and then they had two other radio stations, a classic hits, the Eagle, and then K99, a country radio station. And I ran the board for like their remotes on K99, and I'm like, man, I just want to be on the air, like you know. That's how I started to kind of like country a little bit because I was, that was a country station, K99. And then from there, my first on-air job was in Zanesville, Ohio.
Ooh.
2 hours away from 2 hours away from Dayton. Very small town, probably like 30,000, maybe a little bit more, 50,000 people on a station called Z92. Still exists to this day. And in fact, some of the imaging that I did when I was there is still running on the air today.
Hey, okay.
Because they haven't updated it. But yeah, Z92. How it ended up happening was they had a position for a night guy, and I moved. I was living with family in Ohio at the time, and I literally moved to Zanesville, making less money. I was making $9 an hour at Cox Media Group.
Okay. So
when put that into perspective, because I know what some of the part timers make here, and it's a lot. It's significantly more than $9 an hour.
Way more, yeah. way more. Inflation, though.
You're right. You're right. I was making $9 an hour, and this gig paid $8.75 an hour.
Okay.
Or $8.50, something like that.
It still reflects on the check, though. You're gonna see that.
And I was just like, it's a shot to be on the air. So I moved to Zanesville, Ohio, with my former roommate, who's still one of my best friends, Jalen. Shout out to Jalen. And I was living out of a hotel for a while. I didn't even have a place to live, just to be on the air. They had a night position. I was part-time. I did the night show live, 6 p.m. to midnight. I think I did like 6 to 10 live.
Damn.
I know. And then the program director left like a month after I got there. He was like, I got a job with the state, so you know a little bit about programming. Do you want to start scheduling the music? And I'm like, I want to start scheduling the music. So I literally like took the station and like revamped it overnight. I got permission from the general manager. His name was Hank. So I literally like took the station, like gave it new life, like new imaging. Like I did all the music ads. I did everything. They literally had me as like they gave me the title, I think, as music director because I was scheduling the music, but I literally like did the imaging. I was programming the radio station, because the program director really didn't know anything. She's still there. Shout out to Brenda. She didn't really know anything about the station, and I held that job for years after when I moved on to other spots because, again, I was the one that really knew the format, knew the music, knew all of those things, and then I eventually gave it up because it was just too much work. But
just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, I asked them for more money. They said no, so they didn't give me the chance to just be like, yeah, I'll still do it. They just were like, no, we'll take care of it now. So I'm just like,
you're like, oh, okay, cool.
All right,
so
fine.
you see, bye.
So
bye.
There, that's where we are. So yeah, my first on-air job, Zanesville, Ohio, Z92, WHIZ FM.
And how old were you?
So at this time, I would have probably been
when you started doing the like program directing and all that.
When I started like scheduling the music and all that, I probably would have been. Let me think for a second. 2013. I think this would have been like 2013, 20, around there. Yeah, so I would have been 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 21 years old.
About that. Damn. Yeah.
Okay. When do because you just came from New Mexico before you came here, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so where does that come in? You went from New Mexico, like from Ohio to New Mexico?
No,
like right
so you want the journey, essentially.
The journey, yeah.
Okay. Left Zanesville, Ohio.
Got it.
Went to the Cayman Islands.
What the hell?
Grand Cayman, the Caribbean.
Okay.
I was music director and on air for Rooster 101, station still exists today, country station. And I was there for like a month and a half and I left.
You did?
Beautiful, very
Okay.
expensive, far away from home. I was dating a girl at the time who like started seeing another guy and I like was like, oh no, hell no.
No, yeah.
So like I moved back to Ohio.
You know, take my girl.
And then I moved back to Ohio and I remember in October and then by February I had a new job and it was in Peoria, Illinois.
Oh.
So I moved to Peoria, Illinois. Worked for a station called Energy 102.3. RIP is not around anymore.
Oh, damn.
Top 40 station. I was doing nights there, and then I got the music director stripes as well. A lot of these gigs were night gigs.
Yeah.
Left there, and I went to Malone, New York, where I became the program director for the first time. This was probably like 2014, I want to say.
And you all the way in New York.
I'm in upstate New York, Malone, New York. Very cold. The most snow I've ever seen in my life. And so I want you to put it like, people think upstate, no, they think Buffalo, they think Syracuse.
No.
We're going past that.
Like
I'm on
closer
the
to,
Canadian border.
Yeah, like.
I'm next to Canada. In fact, the radio stations that I programmed when I was there were also targeting Canada. So Montreal. So I had 3 stations I was the program director for.
And you could see that shit from like where you're at, basically.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
94.7 Hits FM, RIP, not around anymore.
Damn.
Wild Country 96.5, it's around, but it's on another frequency. And then 102.7 WICY, which is not around anymore. Those 3 stations I programmed at a very young age, early 20s in Malone. That's my first program director gig.
You named those like they were dead homies, bro.
Bro, come on, man. They're close to my heart, you know?
I was like, damn. Okay, I
Yeah,
feel you.
so Malone, New York. Then I moved back to Peoria, Illinois. I wanted to be closer to my kids, and then I was also dating a girl at the time who well, it's so funny. I started talking to this girl the day that I left Peoria to go to New York. And then we just had a long distance relationship that eventually I'm like, all right, we have to I gotta come be with you. So,
Yeah, what's up?
so they had a program director position that was open in Peoria, ironically, the town that I left the first time.
Yeah.
So they said, hey, we have a position if you want to come back and get closer. So you're now going to be competing with the station that you were working for the first time. That they had flipped by then. They had became another station. But I said, yeah, I'll do it. So program director for 98.5 KISS FM, still around to this day. And I still track weekends, ironically.
Oh, you still do?
So I'm still on the air in Peoria, Illinois. And that's where I moved in with this girl at the time. We were dating. And we didn't last long. And then I met Caitlin, who is my current fiance. So that's her hometown in Peoria, Illinois. We went from Peoria, Illinois to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Damn.
That was a major market. Now this is the largest market I've ever worked in my life. At a station called Whammo. It had like heritage roots in Pittsburgh, WAMO, an urban station. I was there working for the same company that owned the New York stations.
Yeah.
So he had a station in Pittsburgh. He's like, I want to make a change there. I want you to come and run it. I went and I went to Pittsburgh and I became the program director for Whammo. Loved that station. It's still around, owned by a different company now. But I only was there for 6 months.
Damn.
So this is where things start to get
Yeah.
interesting in my career path, right? So I leave Pittsburgh and I go to Detroit. And in Detroit, this is now the biggest market that I've ever been in.
Been in now.
I was not. I left programming in Pittsburgh to just be an on-air DJ in Detroit, and I was not sure if it's the move that I wanted to. If it was a smart move to make.
Yeah.
Because, to be quite honest, I was programming in Pittsburgh. So why would I leave the program director position just to be on on-air job? But I'm like, man, it's market 13. It's Detroit.
I know,
It's
yeah,
Detroit.
like,
it's legendary.
Big, bro.
So I left Pittsburgh to go to go be on the air on 105.1 The Bounce. And so this is where things get really interesting. Go to 105.1 The Bounce.
Yep.
And I'm doing afternoons on air on The Bounce. And I talked to my Pittsburgh owner and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry I left you after 6 months, but I can program this remotely. Like, let me do this station.
Like,
I can do it remotely. Yeah, and like, no, I never even left.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, let me just keep it up. And he's like, I mean, we'll try it out. Why not? You're doing great. You're doing a great job. So
Doing great still.
I held that position simultaneously with Detroit until they sold the station. So I had it for years. I had Whammo for years until they sold it. I leave Detroit.
Yep.
Eventually. It was a while. I left Detroit and I went to Youngstown, Ohio, which is
Yeah. It's small town, correct?
Yeah. So the reason why there was a really good friends with this guy to this day. The guy that owned the radio station and I were really good friends. He needed a program director, and the thought was I can go program this station and be an hour away from Pittsburgh because Youngstown to Pittsburgh was an hour away.
Yeah.
So I can literally go and do both jobs and be in both places, and plus closer. And I'm back close to my kids again. I'm in Ohio, which it's not that much different from Detroit as far as distance, but and I moved to Youngstown. I did not like the city, but I have a lot of great people. I want to say I met a lot of great people in Youngstown. The job just didn't work out.
No, yeah.
They wanted someone that was really, I don't know, like wanted to put in like the hard and dirty work to like get the station off the ground. It was a new station, and I was just busy. I had Pittsburgh. I had other things going on.
They want you the main focus of that.
Yeah, and and it should have been, to be quite honest with you, but it just was just like, dude, like I got like. I just like didn't feel like selling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't for me. So I went back to Detroit for the second stint, and then left Detroit again to go. This is like, I know it's kind of complicated.
No,
to go to Albuquerque.
Okay.
So now we're in Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
When I left Detroit to go to Youngstown, I still stayed on the air in Detroit.
And so you would just track from there?
I would track from Youngstown, and then. When I left Detroit the second time to go to Albuquerque, I still stayed on the air.
Okay.
I'm the longest running talent on that station in Detroit. 105 won the bounce.
Hey.
Yeah, I've been on afternoon since April of 2019, and I'm still on today.
To this day.
To this day.
Yeah.
God,
damn.
it's 2025. Yeah, I've been on the air for a long time in Detroit. Shout out to Detroit, man.
Yeah, you're popping in Detroit. Okay.
Yeah, so moved to Albuquerque, and man, I love Albuquerque, man. Like, it's definitely Breaking Bad Central.
Okay.
I was a program director for Kiss 97.3 and Mix 105.1, and I still am to this day.
Oh, dang.
So I still hold the program director position for those stations from Phoenix.
How do you do all multiple jobs?
It's very hard.
Okay.
I'll explain that in a second.
Yeah.
I left Albuquerque because of this job.
Yeah.
I mean, KKFR is legendary. Power is a legendary radio station. So I came here to be the program director. And when I got here, I competed with the guy that hired me in Detroit. So there's a guy, shout out to John Candelaria. So John Candelaria is programming 101.1 The Bounce here in Phoenix. So he turns on the station here. Like the station used to be called, what was it before The Bounce? I think it was... I don't remember. I'm drawing a blank right now. Yeah, so I'm in Albuquerque, programming those two stations while doing Detroit still. I get to Phoenix, and I kept the Albuquerque job, right? And to answer your question, how do you do it all?
Yes.
It's a very tight schedule.
Okay.
I wake up every day at 4:30. I come into the station to do the morning show here.
Yep.
I get off the air at 9. I finish up things for the morning show from like 9 to 10. And then I will finish up office stuff until like noon, go home, and then handle all my Albuquerque stuff for, a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And then finish up any of the Phoenix stuff that I have. So I'm usually in bed by midnight. And then I get up at 4:30 again.
Okay, yeah, because I know you're up all the time no matter what. And
Yeah.
So I'm like, when do you get your sleep?
I don't get sleep at all. I don't get a lot of sleep. It's not good.
It's not healthy,
I don't nap very much either. If I nap, it's for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. I'm very jealous of my co-hosts. Shout out to Jay, Alexa, and Gabe. They get plenty of sleep.
It's cozy all the
Most
time.
of the time,
chilling.
they're getting at least 5-6 hours.
Oh.
I'm probably getting 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep per day, and I take that on myself.
Yeah.
Like, and people think it's because I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I definitely have a lifestyle where I don't like to like have to worry about checking my bank account or like making sure that like I can afford what I do. So I work a lot, but to be honest, dude, like if it's not really about the money for me. It's about I just love what I do.
Yeah.
I take the radio stations and I treat them like relationships. So it's like when I like leave, I think that's why it's so hard for me to leave radio stations. Why I continue to do them after I leave the city because I'm attached to them, dude. Like it's a breakup. When I lost Whammo in Pittsburgh because it got sold, that I cried. It hurt.
Oh.
It hurt.
Yeah.
Because I had put so much blood, sweat, and tears to that radio station. When the stations got sold in New York, that hurt. I cried.
Ooh.
So, you know, I think if I ever leave Power in Phoenix, I'll shed a tear, you know, because it means a lot. The brand means a lot to me. I really hold on to them like relationships. So the money is nice. I mean, if they stopped paying me, I probably wouldn't do it just so I could get some extra sleep.
Let's make that a no. If you stop paying people,
You know, don't stop paying me.
Don't stop paying people.
But I do it because of just the love of the game. And I feel like that's so rare today, man. There's a lot of people that get in the radio because of the cloud. It's cool. It's, you know, but you have to love it, man. And that's why I tell like young cats that come up and like ask about, you know, radio and they ask for my advice. You gotta love it. You gotta love the game. And you have to be passionate about it. You can't treat it like I put my couple hours in and I'm leaving, like, or you'll never have stability. You know what I mean? You won't ever have stability. So yeah, man, I just do it by prioritizing. I take the weekends to work less and sleep more. But to be honest, like I don't really feel like, because even like Friday nights I DJ at the club.
Yeah.
I went to bed this morning probably like 5:36, and I was up at 9. You know what I mean?
Funny, I was 3. I went to bed at 3 and woke up at 8.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, but yeah, it's all about prioritizing and just trying to, you know.
And so you obviously have program directing in multiple cities. And just like here, you have the local artists who are like, you are realistically, how does a younger artist get the program director's attention?
Putting in the work.
Yeah.
Because what people think, there's a lot of really talented artists that send me music, and it's not that I think you're whack, or it's not that I think that you don't have, you know, what it takes to be a star.
Some of you guys are whack, though.
Yeah, most of them are
Some
whack.
of them are whack.
The problem is you haven't put the work in. So, for example, I hear a lot of times people always use the Merkham's example because we play We Outside on Power, and they're like, well, I know I'm harder than him, or like, you know, my music is better than his. And it's like, well, I played the song because it went like viral locally and it got national attention as well. I wasn't playing the record just because I'm like, oh, I love Merkham's and I think he's the greatest, you know, MC of ever.
You're going to be our flagship artist.
Yeah,
That's
no,
exactly
it's like
what we're gonna do.
He put the work in. Like you see his social media hustle. Like he's in the streets promoting this record. He's all over promoting the record. So it's like as a local hip hop station, you can't ignore a record that's making noise in your city. But not everybody has a record that's making noise in the city. And so until I see like to where it's like hard to ignore the song, my ratings are more important to me than making you a superstar because everybody starts somewhere. Yeah. You know, and you think Kendrick Lamar was just played on LA radio when he was like selling tapes out of his trunk? No, it took time until he built the buzz, and they may have played him first. Yeah. But, you know, it took him time to get on. So it's like, listen, put the work in, hustle. You know, continue to market yourself, have a good marketing strategy, have really good quality music, do excellent social media content, build a buzz, and I have no problem supporting local artists. But I'm not going to risk my ratings and my job just to play an unfamiliar song by someone who thinks that they're good.
No, and then have you do all the work of marketing them and just,
right.
Yeah, you're like, you're not going to have me do all the work.
It doesn't work like that.
Not at all. So not only program directing, radio, and all that, when did the actual being a DJ come in handy, like your first turntable?
Yeah.
Like, was that just always something you did this whole time?
Yeah. Loving radio, of course. I would hear mix shows on the radio, like, you know, and hear about DJs. And I'm like, oh, wow. My grandfather used to do it as well. So I'm like, how do I get into this? Like, so I remember I downloaded Virtual DJ on my computer, and I did not have a DJ controller, like a board. I didn't have one. I just was clicking it with the mouse. And I would mix with the mouse. Yeah. I started DJing a little bit, like in middle school. I had my first ever DJ gig was a middle school dance, and it was not a real DJ gig. I was in middle school DJing for my class. I did not have any equipment, and I was playing music that of like pre-recorded mixes I had done. Like it was like not a real DJ gig. My very first time I actually like DJing for like a crowd of people was in 8th grade.
Oh shit! Okay.
8th grade. Then I moved on to do it in high school, and I wasn't good. Like I was a radio guy trying to like DJ. It wasn't until, like my later years in high school of just like learning how to rock a party. like my senior year, and I opened up that teen club for my dad with my dad, and that's kind of when I started really taking it serious. I had like a DJ board. I had like a control. Well, I didn't for the first part of it. Then eventually I got like a DJ controller, and like started DJing on an actual mixer.
Yeah.
But it was the teen clubs where I got started like really getting good at it. And learning how to read a room and learning how to
practicing your craft the whole time.
Yeah, and DJing for different types of people. Like DJing for black people is not easy. Versus DJing for like preteens at a teen club of like middle school white girls.
Top 40.
Yeah,
just top 40 stuff.
Black people are very picky. Like so, it was very. It humbled me and it made me a better DJ. It made me a better DJ. So then I went from the teen clubs to eventually doing actual nightclubs, and I just took off from there.
And one of these places, did you ever get booed for something you played?
Yeah.
What'd you play?
That's a really good question.
He's like, what the fuck did I play?
I remember just vividly in high school, it was the last song of the night, and I didn't know what to play. I ran out of songs, and the entire crowd was staring at me like, come on, man, play something. Teachers were looking at me. And I let them down. I could not think of a final song. I ran out of songs to play. And I remember after that, I got clowned. I didn't want to go back to school because they were like, that was whack. Even to where they said, like, for the next prom or whatever, they're like, and we're actually going to have, like, a real DJ this time. And everybody's, like, looking at me and laughing at me. So I don't remember, like, if I played a specific song where I got booed. And most of the time, even to like, I don't remember any vividly like booed experiences. I've definitely gotten looks for stuff that I've played where people just weren't. I remember I played a pre-recorded mix I had done at a birthday party for this black girl, and I mixed "Ridin' Dirty" with "White and Nerdy" by Weird Al, and I played that mix. And my dad ducked his head. He was next to me, and even he was embarrassed because people were like. They were looking back at it like, what is he playing?
Your pops was like, I had nothing to do with this?
I've gotten booed if my computer's messed up or like the music stops, equipment failure, those kind of things.
Those
people
are like quick little...
Yeah, I'll be like, boo, like, no music. Yeah, so that'll happen. But I've learned that you can't please everybody. Just like even like I did a gig last week and somebody's like, mix it up, switch it up. Because they didn't like, I was playing like a poppier song and it was like a black woman they didn't want to hear. And that's like, it's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like when I play like Spanish music, now, certain people don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't please everybody. You just got to know how to rock the crowd.
Yeah.
And I like to say that I find myself to be better than most DJs. I say that confidently.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be a DJ and play good music, but it's another thing to entertain them. My dad always taught me, you got to create an experience for people. So when you come to Lookout Tavern on Fridays, you're getting an experience.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on the mic. I am hyping up the crowd. I'm interacting with them. I'm talking shit the whole time. Like, after we get off the radio at 1 o'clock, you hear a whole nother side.
Oh, yeah. It's, like we say, Jonathan becomes J Steele real quick. And we off air, we're off air. Fuck yeah!
Yeah, exactly, bro. And I turn that place up. And it's because, like, they love that interaction. They love somebody laughing with them and dancing with them and like having fun versus just if most DJs like, hey, and they don't want to talk much and it's just like you gotta be interactive.
No, yeah, you'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Come up.
Yeah.
Be on the radio.
Yeah.
Was J Steele always your first name?
No.
What was your first DJ name still?
My first DJ name was Cold Ice, DJ Cold Ice. My dad hated it.
Okay.
Because he's just like, I have no idea. And then he was like, you need a better DJ name than that. Like, what about like, Miracle? I think my dad gave me DJ Miracle.
Okay.
And because I was a miracle child. The joke is that my mom was on birth control and my dad pulled out and I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be here, dog.
Yeah, shout out. What's your pop's name?
Reggie.
Shout out to you, Reggie.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
Hey, I'm here for a reason. And ironically enough, Cason's the same way.
Oh,
No,
what?
I didn't pull out of her for that, actually.
No,
I
yeah,
take it
don't.
back. She was on birth control. I didn't pull out because she was on birth control.
Well, they say sleeping and I'm sleeping.
So, Miracle, he gave me DJ Miracle, and I still use Miracle in Peoria on the air because everybody's known me for years as DJ Miracle. I've been on the air in Peoria almost 10 years.
But it's actually also pretty cool to have like two different, it's like a Wayne and Tunchi vibe. So you got DJ Miracle and J Steele.
J Steele did not come about until Detroit. And because I've been going by Miracle for so long that John Candelaria said, yeah, that name doesn't really resonate with older people. And I'm like, you're right. So he's like, what about J Steele? So shout out to John Candelaria once again, man. He gave me J Steele, and I've been known as that ever since, and I like it better. It fits more with my actual name, Jonathan. It has, it's different. It's, but I hate when people put the DJ in front of it. Like, we got DJ J Steele. Like, no.
It actually doesn't go together.
Yeah, no.
Either.
Just put the J Steele.
Like,
we're good.
yeah, I don't know where I was with the introduce you as like DJ J Steele, and I thought that was weird.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Bro, no, just put J.
People do it all the time. But yeah,
they mess it up. Okay, it's gonna be funny. Is there a cancel song that you wish you could play? I think you.
Oh my God! Of course, of course, and you can play it in certain crowds.
All right.
I'll play Ignition Remix or R. Kelly at like a house party. Like, anything R. Kelly. I miss Fiesta. I miss all of those records. Step in the Name of Love. I still will play that because black people just don't care about.
No, because it's a dance. It's
and either way, like most black people they're fine with R. Kelly not being canceled. Yeah. They're like, hey, you know what I mean? Y'all don't want to send your kids over there. I'm like, listen, I don't want to get into the politics of R. Kelly, but y'all want to hear it, then I'm good.
I'm just playing the music.
Diddy for sure.
Yeah.
Bad Boy makes just so much great music. I Need a Girl.
I can't X that one out yet.
Can't Nobody Hold Me Down.
Nope.
I'll Be Missing You. Even on the radio, just playing that one. It's such a big hit. I still play More Money, More Problems. That's Biggie. I can't take that away from Biggie. But Diddy had just so many great songs. But I won't touch him because you just don't know. Yeah. You don't get hurt. You don't get hurt by what you don't play. Okay. And you apply that to radio as well. Like, I'm very conservative for the most part when it comes to music programming. Like, you listen to the radio station, you're hearing hit songs. I'll play new music, but it's got to be new music that I feel like it's going to be something. I don't just want to play like a bunch of random new music because you don't get hurt by what you don't play. You get hurt by what you do play. Like, if I know that I'm playing hit songs on that station down the hall, I'm good. But if I play something that is unfamiliar and not a hit, I could risk tune out. It's the same thing with DJing. If I play R. Kelly, people could leave the dance floor. They can complain. They might not feel it. Versus if I don't play it, nobody's going to be like, I didn't hear R. Kelly tonight. Nobody's going to think about it.
Someone calls, I want to hear Ignition.
Right. If I get a request for it, then it just depends on the vibe and where I'm at. But normally I don't play it because, again, you don't get hurt by what you don't play.
I feel that. Get booed out your first time and shit.
Yeah, can't have that happen.
Was there a artist growing up that you looked up to and wanted to kind of like be like someone that...
Well, I didn't really here's the thing. Believe it or not, I actually have songs where I rap. I actually was working on music with my morning show co-host in Albuquerque. Shout out to Ando. But it's just for fun. I don't take it seriously like that. I think I'm some great rapper or anything. It's just we enjoy making music. So I won't say I really wanted to grow up to be any specific artist. I didn't aspire to be a rapper or a singer. But I'll tell you who I listened to a lot. And Eminem for sure. Drake. I'll never forget Carter 3 Wayne. At that era, no one could say that Lil Wayne was the biggest thing.
I was in 6th grade, 7th grade when that came out.
Yeah, I was in high school, and Lil Wayne, the Carter 3, was so big. He sold 1 million copies the first week, I remember.
Won a Grammy.
And then Drake comes out, and my dad says, he's going to be bigger than Lil Wayne. I'm like...
Dude, so was your pops being able to tell.
Bro, my dad is... Bro, he's a G.
Okay.
He said Drake's going to be bigger than Lil Wayne. I'm like, come on. Wayne... you know what I'm saying? Lil Wayne's the biggest rapper on the planet. He's not just a rapper at this point. He's a pop star.
Oh, yeah.
Drake ended up being
bigger
than Lil Wayne.
Way bigger.
Yeah.
Way bigger.
So I fell in love with Drake. Believe it or not, I loved Chamillionaire's mixtape Messiah series. I thought he just was an ill lyricist. Because people know Chamillionaire for Riding Dirty and his radio records. Nah, he actually can spit for real. J. Cole, of course.
Okay.
I'm thinking people that I listen to my free Hopsin. So I liked hip hop. I liked storytelling hip hop. I never really got into the Pac, Nas. I listened to some Pac, but Nas big, Jay-Z, and that wasn't really my thing. I was more of the what's hot right now. I was just falling in love with. 2 Chainz was hot for a minute.
I think obviously it comes with your radio background too at the same
100%.
time of I want to know what am I playing right now.
To this day too, I don't listen to full-length albums unless I really like the artist. I listen to singles. Unless they're massive. G and X, Kendrick, I listened to it the first day it came out because it was just so big of an artist. But it's so interesting now being on this side of the country.
Yeah.
because there's a lot of records that are just massive here that would never got played in Ohio.
Yeah.
I never played Suavemente until I moved to Albuquerque. Or La Chona, or like any of those like big Hispanic records.
Chicanos, what's up?
I never played those records because I played like Gasolina like and stuff in Ohio.
Yeah, that's like Puerto Rico though.
Yeah,
like the East Coast
no, I take that back. I did play Suavemente in Youngstown at a Mexican bar. Shots of Gringos. But I wasn't playing like the Bad Bunnies and things like that, and I certainly wasn't playing like West Coast hip hop, YG. And like all that stuff.
Were you familiar with West Coast hip hop as much, or?
Yeah, because I watched the charts and I saw but I would always ignore them. Like those songs, I'm like, this is for Power 106 in LA and Power in Phoenix. Like those records are never going to be big out here in Ohio. Nobody cared about like YG, and like when I was DJing a lot in the bars in Youngstown, Ohio, it was very much like Lil Durk. And it's like a Midwest, was big. Pooh Shiesty was big at the time. It was the music that was just like T Grizzly, Meek, like it was very Midwest, East Coast music. So at that time, you guys are getting like Kendrick and you're getting, Mustard and Ty Dolla $ign and like all these big West Coast, artists that people could care less.
Yeah, like outside of like the West, no one's really listening to them. What is the first like full length album that you would recommend somebody listening to that still recommends listening from start to finish?
I definitely, like I mentioned, the Carter 3 by Lil Wayne.
Got it.
I think the greatest hip hop album of all time. And again, keep in mind, 32 years old, so everybody's gonna come for me about like Jay-Z and all that shit.
Y'all better stop. Leave him alone. Go ahead.
Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh no, that's my favorite fucking.
Let's
Are you
go.
serious?
50. That is a classic album.
I waited a whole year when he canceled his tour here, and since that came out when I was in kindergarten, and that was my. I've already had a love for hip hop, but that was the one that I knew every single song to. I would imitate 50,
of course,
all that. Yeah, all right, okay.
Yeah, so it's got to be Get Rich or Die Trying. It's got to be Carter 3, and then there's like artists that I like where I will listen to the full length album, but I won't go back and listen from start to finish because there's stuff that was skippable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran, I love Ed Sheeran. Okay. Anytime he drops a project, I'm really big into that. Morgan Wallen, like on the countryside.
Yep.
Big into
you
Morgan
had
Wallen.
whiskey playing on here.
Yeah, I did. I'm really liking Sabrina Carpenter right now. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I like to listen to things besides just hip hop, man, because it's like I'm consumed by hip hop so much.
You got to mix it up a little bit.
That I have to mix it up. I think there's a lot of talented artists out there. I think Miles Minnick is like starting to blow up. La Russell is starting to blow up.
La Russell's.
I actually I'm the imaging voice for a Christian hip hop station.
Are you serious?
Called Boost Radio, yeah. Which ironically they actually are on one of the HD signals here in Phoenix.
That's funny.
And Boost, I feel like I do that to kind of give back to my faith. Like, I'm Christian. I don't go to church as much. I don't do as much as I can for God as much as I wish I could. So I voice that station for like super cheap because it's like me saying like,
it's giving back.
It's giving back.
Hey man, I'm sitting all this time. I got you.
So like that music, I for King and Country, Lauren Daigle, like I have a lot of respect for Christian music. And then obviously look like on the hip hop side, Lecrae is super dope. Yeah. So I listen to a little bit of everything, man.
What do you think about the current state of hip hop at this very moment?
I think Kendrick Lamar is the only two words that I would say. I think hip hop's an interesting place. I mean, last year was the first summer in a long time that we didn't have a Drake running everything
at all.
And I'm a big Drake fan, man. So like, this is kind of hurting me to see the fall of Drake, but I don't think it's the fall for long. He'll be back.
I just think it was like because I know you're not as familiar. I'm pretty sure you're familiarized with Nas going and Jay going at it.
Oh yeah.
So Nas
Ether
obviously won that one.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the end for Drake. For Jay whatsoever. No. I feel like it's kind of gonna be that.
Yeah, man. Drake will be fine. He just needs to like stop with all the the pettiness and just drop music and get things figured out. But I think hip hop's in a really good space. We have a lot of really dope artists, providing good quality of work right now. A lot of my top 40 programmers that like do pop music, they're like, I wish I could play some of the stuff you guys are playing because it's in a good spot right now. It's better. It's better than it was. It's still. We got work to do because we don't have our core artists. Like we had, Drake, Wayne, Nicki Minaj at all times. Yeah. That was a great place for radio. Now we have Kendrick and SZA and Glorilla, which is cool. But you know, those pop programmers are like, man, like those are the biggest records in the world right now. Like, you know, your Sexy Reds, your Gorillas, your Kendricks, your SZAs, those records are so massive, but it's too much and too hard for pop radio to play.
Yeah, they can't touch
They
that.
can't touch it. So it's like, damn it, like these records that are so big, we can't play because it's too much for our audience. But I mean, at the same time, I think pop they have, again, Sabrina Carpenter right now, you know, who's running things. This girl named Gracie Abrams that's coming up, Taylor Swift. I can't play Taylor Swift, you know what I mean? And she's the biggest artist on the planet.
She's like literally one of the biggest artists at all time.
So, you know, it goes both ways.
Who would be Steele's Mount Rushmore? And let's not, since you just named a bunch of different art, let's say in just music in general. Mount Rushmore.
Oh, gosh, man.
Yeah, I made it a little more difficult.
Eminem.
Got it.
Bruno Mars.
Hits.
J. Cole. Drake. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's 4. I mean, unless you want to do top 5.
Yeah, no, that's 4. I think
That's
we're good
4.
there. Because there's so many, man. I feel bad for leaving out Ed Sheeran. I think he's so talented.
I feel bad. Ed
The
Sheeran,
Weeknd is
sorry.
talented. God, Taylor Swift deserves to be up there. I'm not a Swiftie by any means. Shout out to Chris Sumlin. I know you're a Swiftie. I'm not a Swiftie by any means. But she makes just such great music.
Oh,
bro.
her stats alone are crazy.
Like, the music, people say that it's just like, oh, it's bubblegum. Like, it's, you know, but the thing is, like, the songwriting is incredible, and the music is just fun to sing along to. So she'll be around for many years to come.
Oh, very, very much. How do you balance basically all this and your family life?
You have to try to find the little things. And what I mean by that is just like finding time to be like, hey, let's go to dinner tonight and like do something like, you know, sporadic. And hey, ask your mom to watch Kaysen so we can go to the movies or something like that. You have to find the little things because you get so caught up in the day-to-day of work that it becomes very routine.
Yeah.
But I've learned now that what I'm doing is I'll find myself setting aside time to spend time with my son or my fiance and just enjoying the weekends with them when I don't have to get up as early, and cooking dinner with them and like watching a show with her. It's just the little things. My mindset is I could work a 9-to-5 job and be home at 5 o'clock and be done for the day like everybody else. And we can eat top ramen. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
I the people that work regular jobs and like are paycheck to paycheck, I got so much respect because, man, that was me making $8.50 an hour. Couldn't afford it. But the way I look at it is like, or I can work the way that I work, and then we can take trips to Disney, and we can go travel the country, and we can go and take these vacations and do things. And, you know, the conversation I always have with Caitlin, my fiance, she's always like, I don't care about those things. Like, I just want your time. But it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, let's be honest. Like, if I said no when you want to go to Ulta, or like we don't have the money, you'd be like, damn. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
so it's just like, I never say no. She is on Fashion Nova. She is on Ulta. She gets her lashes done. She gets this done. I want to go buy this. And I never say no. If I had to start saying no because of me working less and being home more, I think it would start to affect things.
Yeah.
Not like she would be like, oh, you're broke, I'm going to break up with you. But it's more of just like, you have an appreciation for that lifestyle. So I want my son to grow up and say, I never had to worry how I was going to get fed. I never had to worry about, like, you know, going to school with, like, whack-ass shoes or, like, being made fun of like I was. And it's not because my parents, by the way, like, didn't provide for me. Like, my mom didn't, like, know that, like, Jordans were necessary to, like, not get picked on. Or, like,
it's a whole, like, they would go to Payless for us.
Yes.
And it's one of those.
I wore, like, you know, like, the high-rise, like, the, you know what they call them.
Yeah, Chucks for me were getting something name brand, and it really wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, whatsoever. It's like $30.
So it wasn't until like I finally told my dad, like, I gotta wear like forces. I gotta like upgrade my clothes because like I'm getting clowned out here. You know what I'm saying? But I never, and that's why I don't think I care about it now. Like I wear the same couple of pairs of shoes, same couple of outfits. Yeah. Because it's like I don't care. Like who am I trying to impress? Who am I really trying to impress?
I'm program director. I'm already married.
Yeah, like I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like I like to look nice. Yeah. But it's like, at the end of the day, like, I got money in my account. If I really want to go buy that stuff, I could. But it's like, I don't care.
No. And that's also a flex in itself as well, as being like, I don't have to.
Right.
You know, I just can't. Did your family share the same love for music as you do? Like your kids?
Not really. So I have the two non-biological kids that live in Ohio. They're not my biological kids.
Oh.
I raised them since birth. Father's not in the life. Shout out to Isaiah and Selena. Isaiah is definitely a Fortnite kid. He's a gamer. He knows artists based on if they're on Fortnite. So he knows Travis Scott because he's on Fortnite. He knows Snoop Dogg because he's on Fortnite. My daughter Selena is more into like dance and music. She loves Taylor Swift, loves Sabrina Carpenter, loves like bubblegum pop music.
Aww.
That is her thing. She loves to sing to those songs. And Kaysen, I feel like it's still early. He's only like 8 months.
He was programming the other day, though.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was programming.
He loves the computer. He loves the computer.
What's a lesson you learned from your family that you apply to your career?
I think it's more so watching my dad grow up and how he was as a man that I apply to my career from a work ethic standpoint. My dad was very big on the same thing. He wasn't home a lot because he was driving, but we never had to worry about like not eating. It wasn't until I moved with my dad that I got introduced to like gourmet meals like fettuccine Alfredo and like salmon and all this other stuff. And now I eat like that. Like I eat like how I grew up with him.
Yeah, Reggie's that fucking guy.
Bro, Reggie's the guy.
Reggie's
bro. He's
that
the
guy.
goat. You know what I'm saying? I probably should say dad. He'd be like, "Why you call me Reggie?"
I'm sorry. I'm gonna get him in
you
trouble.
Can.
Hey.
I can. Work ethic, man.
Yeah.
Like I watched my dad get up at 3:30 in the morning and not come home till like 8 o'clock at night and never complain. He would just say like, "I'm tired sometimes," but he like did it day after day after day after day. So I try to like, I don't wake up and complain. I'm tired, but I know I got a job to do. I got people here whose livelihoods depend on my results. I mean, let's just be honest. Like I'm a team first guy.
Yeah.
And so I feel responsible for Jay Alexa and for Gabe and for my talent. And that if I drop the ball, they could lose their job. So I'm not here to complain and be tired.
No.
Like I'm here to like get my ass up, do my job, and do it to the best of my ability. I definitely have days where I've mentally exhausted, like borderline, like feeling like I'm gonna like crash out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I'm done. And
I still don't complain about it, man.
No, yeah, still
because it's what I'm supposed to be doing. My father never complained. My grandfather never complained. He was in radio for a long time. You never heard him complain about anything. Rest in peace. So I feel like taking the people that were in my lives every single day and knowing the sacrifices that they made, I want to make sure I apply that same character to my career.
So, okay, you're a whole ass general here. I see you, man.
Thank you.
After all that, how do you unwind after your days?
Yeah.
Let's just say you actually have no work.
Yeah.
And you have no DJing. What's a perfect unwinding day for Steele?
It depends. I like to chill and just like, like I like to, watch TV because I don't watch TV throughout the week.
Go-to show. I'm saying be detailed. Go-to show.
I love All American.
All right.
I love BMF. I love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or I guess Bel-Air now. But so I like to watch because I don't watch a lot of TV as it is. So like if I'm relaxing, I'm watching a documentary. Like right now I'm watching this Fall of Diddy documentary.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, so like or some kind of Netflix doc or whatever. But 'cause I don't watch a lot of TV, like I mentioned, so like I'll do that to or sleep. Like I catch up on sleep. But when I'm not sleeping, like I'll play Madden every now and then, or like some kind of like football video game. I love to just I love to travel. Okay. I love to travel. So like being on the road is great. I can't do that a lot over a weekend because there's not enough time. But if I like take off like a significant amount of time, I always take a trip somewhere. I love to road trip. I prefer driving over flying.
That's fair. I think that's a hidden.
No one understands. They're like, wait, you drove how many hours? 35 for what?
But that's fun though.
It's so much fun. I love it. You spend so much quality time. You'd be amazed how much you learn in the conversations you have with your partner about just the things you never would have talked about before because we're in a car for so long. Yeah. And me being the radio nerd, I'm fully admit, like part of the reason I love driving because I love listening to the radio. Yeah. Dude, I always come back energized to get back to work because I heard something on the radio. I'm like, I want to do something like this.
I'm doing it.
I'll call Dion, like, yo, shout out to Dion McBean.
Yeah.
Yo, this promotion I heard, like, we got to do that. Like, they were doing this in this city or whatever, or we should put a twist on it. Or like, oh, I hear so much bad radio that I'm like, man, now I'm inspired to make the station sound even better when I get back.
We're not going to do it like here.
Yeah.
Right?
So you don't get that by getting on a plane. Like, dude, like, I honestly believe, like, today, most people in radio don't care or listen to the radio when they're not at their job. And it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't judge people that are like that. They're streaming music, they're listening to podcasts, they're on their phones, whatever. But like I live, eat, breathe shit this kind of, you know, this is my
shit.
This is my shit right here. So like on the road, like I only listen to the radio. Yeah. I do not stream music at all. God. Unless I cannot pick up a station. If I'm in an area where I can't pick it up. So imagine how many times you hear Kendrick Lamar driving from here to Florida. Like you hear it a lot, and it's not about the song, like, oh my God, like I just want to hear Not Like Us again. Yeah. It's about the sound of the radio station. Like, man, that sweeper there, like the element in between the songs. They're called sweepers. That sounds great.
Imagine someone wants to play aux chord and still just letting them.
My friends hate traveling with me.
Oh, bro.
Because they're like, bro, can we listen to something else? I'm so tired of this song.
You're all scanning, dude.
My friend Omar's, that's his impression. Like, I'm so tired of hearing this, bro.
It's so tired, man.
Shout
out to Omar.
Yeah, he hates it. But, they also respect me for it. Like, they understand that this is all I've ever wanted to do.
Hey, yo, before we head out, we have a little game to play, okay? All
right.
It's called This or That.
This or That.
All right, you got 5 seconds to answer it.
Okay.
At each question, and you have to pick one.
Okay.
Can't say neither or nothing, all
okay.
right?
All right.
Ready?
Let's go.
Nas or Jay-Z?
Jay-Z.
Trick Daddy or Uncle Luke?
Trick Daddy.
All right, tequila or vodka?
Tequila.
All right, DJing or radio show host?
DJing.
All right, Blackberry or Sidekick?
Blackberry.
All right, NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Just a sidekick. Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys. Christina Aguilera or Britney Spears?
Britney.
50 or Ja Rule?
Oh, 50.
Power or Empire?
Empire.
All right. Really?
I don't want to admit that I've watched like one episode of Power. I know. I got to get into it.
Damn. All right, cool. R. Kelly or Diddy?
Diddy.
Got it. Martin or Fresh Prince?
Fresh Prince.
Cameron or Jim Jones?
Ooh, Cameron.
All right. Streaming albums or hard copies?
Now, I guess streaming.
Cardi B or Nicki Minaj?
Nicki.
All right. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael.
Damn, that was easy as hell, I guess. From a producing standpoint, Dr. Dre or Kanye West?
Oh, come on, man. Oh, Kanye.
All right.
That's so That
did not sit well. Your dad's going to be mad.
He will.
He is going to be so mad. All right. Classic hip-hop fashion, Kango hats, baggy clothes, or modern sweatshirt, modern streetwear?
I like modern streetwear.
Modern streetwear a little bit? All right. So you're from Ohio. Twister or Bone Thugs?
Bone.
All right. Kevin Spacey or Harvey Weinstein?
Harvey.
I feel it. Hey, yo. That was actually the end of my thing. We're going to cut that part out, all right?
You can leave it. I don't care. Hey. I want to clarify, too, because you asked me DJing or radio host. Yep. I like programming a radio station better than I like being on the air. If you listen to J&J in the morning, I don't take that shit seriously. None of us take it seriously. That's why the show is good. I feel like it's because everybody else tries so hard to be perfect radio polished host. Now, don't get me wrong. There are things that we do because you have to, because you're talking to an audience. There's the science behind it you have to follow. But the conversations we have, I don't be giving a fuck.
But that is also the fun part about it, though, is because when they're too trying to be perfect, you're fucking boring, bro. Could you guys please?
Yeah, we just do a relaxed show. So for me, I don't love being on the air. I love DJing. I would DJ a club for free. Hey, make sure Kevin, look out, Tavis, still pay me. Don't cut my pay.
We're just being nice when we say that.
But I would DJ because I love you couldn't have me do an on-air radio show every day for free. Now programming a radio station, I love that. I love more behind the scenes. Everything you hear on the station day to day is my work. That's what I love. I love scheduling the music, and I love putting together the power. All those. That's called imaging, by the way. I love the imaging. I love choreographing the sound of a radio station. On air, it's fine.
You're I'm fine. I
enjoy doing the morning show every day because I feel like I'm doing a show with my friends.
Yeah.
but I'm not in love with it like I'm in
Yeah.
love with DJing.
Like if God forbid, if one of them were to leave, you're probably like, I'm not doing this then. Like meaning on air wise, like the programming's fine, but like
Well,
the
I
dynamic.
think, I think part of radio now you have to wear multiple hats. So
Yeah.
I know that if one of them left the show, they would still they'd still make sure that I would do the show. But I guess it would depend on why. Like, are they leaving because they're leaving on their own, or are they leaving because they're getting walked out of the door?
Oh, I would say always leveling up, doing something good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
then I would stay on the air, and but if it's like you're trying to pull the show apart because of your budget, then I'd be like, well,
Like what the hell?
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that-
I'm not gonna-
And unfortunately, sometimes that's how radio is, you know.
So let's
But
go.
yeah.
Let's go. Hold on. You're not gonna skip over the whole. So you haven't seen one fucking episode of Power, whatsoever.
I started watching and then I turned it off
How long ago? Recently, or just when it first
years
started?
ago. Years ago, not when it first started. Like probably like 5 years after it started.
You know, there's 6 seasons and 2 spinoffs, right?
I got a lot of catching up to do.
Oh my god!
Is it that good?
Yes, it is that good actually. And okay, what shocked me is because you said you like BMF, right?
I do love BMF.
Alright,
and it's the same kind of.
No, it's in the same
Yeah.
creation and all that, but dude, Power storytelling and I guess the character arcs, and you find yourself really falling in love with the villain.
Yeah.
I guess. Like think about the good guy ends up being like, I fucking hate this guy.
Ironically enough, my white fiance has seen Power and I haven't.
See, Caitlin, teach him something.
Caitlin
please.
likes Power. I think it's because when Power came out, I must have been like preoccupied or busy doing something in my life that I got so far behind, and then I felt like.
Especially when you do your timeline and when you started a program.
Yeah,
and all that,
I have to go. What time did Power?
2014.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was 2014 and ended in 2019.
I was moving a lot during that time.
Yep.
I was leveling up in my career. So it just was one of those things where I felt so far behind versus like it just happened to be at the right time for Empire. It just happened to be at the right time for Bel Air,
I tried with Empire, and it was a drip. That I was like, I'm gonna skip this episode.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. The music, some of the music was whack.
Nah,
Some of it was good though. Jussie Smollett, man.
Yeah,
Even though he's a con artist, Jussie Smollett has.
He can sing, bro.
He has some good music, bro.
He can sing.
Shout out to Jussie Smollett, man.
Yeah, man. Can't act for shit, but I guess so. You can sing. I want to personally thank you for being a part of my first episode.
Man.
All right. Thank you for Power for allowing me to do this. Thank you to my producer Gabe. Everybody, until the next time, this has been Behind the Mic with Marcus. Thank you.